Hmm. Hi, I'm Jordan Long, and today this is the film that I made yesterday, and then I made a mistake and took it down while it was being filleted on YouTube. So now I'm making it today. So today is Friday the 13th, and I know that that doesn't mean much to folks, but it does mean something when it comes to the Friday the 13th films, which you know, they were during the 1980s, they were a big thing. And they were consistent from 1980 up to at least 1988, of course, underneath Paramount. At the time, it was owned by CBS. And then they were eventually sold over to, you know, was sold over to Time Inc. That would eventually become Time Warner, and then LL Time Warner, and eventually Time Warner and Warner Media underneath New Line. Now, and then 1993, you had the ninth, and you had to wait till 2002 for the 10th, and then you had to wait for 2009 for the first one to be made again. And that's when the hang-up happened over ownership. Apparently, Viacom, that at that point owned Paramount and many other things, believed that they should have Friday the 13th back. Time Warner, that owned many things, and also owned New Line, believed that no, they were not going to be selling Friday the 13th back to them in any way. So this started a lawful bind. And this lawful bind basically made it where they couldn't make any Friday the 13th shit and binded them up for some time. It was a hang up of Viacom's doing. Now, apparently this year it was reached that new law that time that Warner Inc., that now owns Warner Brothers and many other businesses and offshoots, including New Line, had the ownership of Friday the 13th. It was theirs. It was sold to them in 1993 or 1991 or 1990 or something around that time, even though they didn't do the ninth film until 1993 YL, of course. Now, even though they did that, and a lot of folks out there, if you were a Friday the 13th fan, there were a lot of, it was sad because you didn't know if you were going to get a film or not. Now, a lot of folks out there would say, well, what did Jason Voorhees think about it? Well, if you watched the Dare to Be Stupid show, you know that he had his thoughts on it. But I figure I should talk to him myself. And I know you folks are like, oh, Jason doesn't talk, he doesn't speak. I'm sure he does, he just doesn't know what to say. And, well, here he is now. I got wrong way. So what do you think about the whole Friday the 13th lawful ownership bond? It was dumb. They sold me off a long time ago. And now they want me back? Well, I don't think so. And they wanted to make Warner Media sell me back to them. For what? Because now they shifted a heart. Oh, well, I guess we were wrong about Friday the 13th. We were wrong about Jason Voorhees. Oh, maybe he still does good. Somehow, some way, they looked at the films that I was made underneath under the Time Warner or the Time Warner or Warner Media ownership when New Line was doing it, and they got in their head that, oh, maybe we're wrong. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that I didn't like it. I didn't think it was right that I could have another film, but instead there's these gaps, long gaps, okay? And I didn't think it was right that all that happened, you know? And of course, I still got my followers. I still have Farseer games. I still have dolls. And one day I'm going to get a new film out. You know, it's going to happen. One day I'm going to get a new film out. And everybody's going to be happy with it. Well, what do you think about, you're not going to slay me over it, are you? No, I'm not going to slay you over it, Jordan. Why would I want to slay you over it? You know, it is what it is. But I gotta go now. And one more thing before I go, I just think that whole ownership thing, that whole lawful ownership fight should have never happened. Okay? That Viacom should have never started it with Warner Media over who owned me when they knew who owned me. Now I know in their head they're gonna say, well, that was CBS back in the day that owned you when they owned Paramount and sold you over to Time Warner and New Line Cinema. That wasn't us. Yeah, well, sadly, I'm not owned by them anymore. And sadly, New Line Cinema still owns me through Time Warner. Well, actually, no, it's Warner Media that owns New Line Cinema as an offshoot. So it is what it is. It ain't my hang up. They're mad that they couldn't get me back. I gotta go now. Happy Friday 13th, everyone. Well, that was Jason Voorhees, folks. And I know you folks are going to be like, oh, he talked, he spoke, he talks, he speaks. Yes, he did. Yeah, I don't really know how, but that's all we did. So that's it. I'm Jordan Long, and I'll see you later.